Hello everyone, it's Lisa Jane here, and I wasn't really going to put out a video today. I was going to leave it till later in the week, but I have had so much nagging coming in from my spiritual guidance in terms of just to keep talking. Obviously at this point you can press pause, you don't have to listen to me, but it seems that there is a lot of information that I just need to share, and I need to share more regularly. So if it resonates with you, I'm so very glad. As always, I set the intention for this information to receive you at whatever time you need it, and that it holds the highest vibration for your healing and highest good. With all of the information I channel, I always connect into source. As much as I have my own team of spiritual guides and an idea of where I may originate from or where my soul vibration is linked to, it doesn't feel that I need to share that with you at this point in time. It feels more that what I need to be offering is practical guidance, or at least some practical guidance as to how you can continue to walk your path of spiritual development and growth, and ultimately to the connection of your authentic self or soul. So today's talk is really going to be about something that I'm very passionate about, and it is related to words, or let's call them hashtags, that have been offered to me by Spirit, around which I need to base my teaching and my guidance. And this one in particular is one that drove me to create my new humanity cards, that are the 52 guidance cards just relating to normal human emotions and our way of being. And that is the hashtag of the new human. Some of my Facebook posts have mentioned this, and I believe that a large portion of my teachings are really aligned to this. We can use complicated words to explain what is going on at present, but there is a general global awakening of people, and understanding that systems that were in place no longer serve us, that ways of being that we hold ourselves in no longer serve us, that perhaps relationships, be they familial or spousal or just sibling or friends, no longer serve us. And when I say no longer serve us, I don't necessarily mean that all of those may be bad or heavier energies that we need to deal with, but more that what is occurring is we are moving to a different place where we have a greater awareness of what is in our highest good and what is not. Doesn't mean that we actually accuse or point fingers at the other party. What is the most important thing is actually the self-awareness. So in this kind of category of the new human, I do believe that some of my very first episodes talk about how to get in touch with your source code. And by that I mean your highest expression as a human being on this planet, since it is still our role to be human, to be here, to be physically present, and to engage in all of the daily activities we need to engage in order to participate in this awakening. And basically what I'm calling it is an evolution of us as humans. Ever since I was little, I kind of had always understood that our evolution is not so much going to be in a physical sense, but it's going to be more in the way that we use our minds. And this is really being made very clear to me through my teachings and guidance that I'm receiving in terms of the new human and the frequency of being source, and just being present, and ultimately just engaging with yourself on an energetic level. So a lot of people, clients, my tribe, I like to call them, who kind of get value from what it is I'm offering, are asking more deeper questions about how to actually get there. And whilst a big part of me really understands that it's not about seriously chasing, actively, engaging with something, it's more of going with the flow, there are some things that we can do that will enable us to step into that flow more easily. So on this particular video, I'm not quite sure how long I'm going to talk, but we'll see where it ends up, because I also know that the shorter videos are more preferable, unless you have time to listen to me ramble on for 45 minutes or an hour. So the new human, if we had to describe it, is a person who has a number of traits. And I suppose what I'd like to do firstly is maybe just talk to you about three main ones. I have mentioned 2 of these in earlier videos. So if you haven't listened to my earlier videos about truth and responsibility, then I suggest you do that. And perhaps even I might continue that series of episodes on other areas or energies I think we need to focus on in order to move towards the new human. The new human. Let's get into what that is. The new human is really us as energetic beings who are continually, or as much as possible, in a state of conscious awareness, who are taking responsibility, and who ultimately are moving to a place where they speak their truth. Now, speaking your truth can be, as I've mentioned before, the very mundane truths, or they can be truths that are actually the most difficult to speak. And perhaps it's not also about just getting your truth out. It's really about you understanding what that voice of truth is for you. I certainly think that my path growing up squashed my voice. I wasn't able to speak my truth. I was not in a situation that was supportive of me speaking my truth. And so it has taken me probably longer than hopefully it's going to take my children to find that voice that is truly mine, that truly resonates with how I'm feeling, and has taken me to a place where I feel safe enough to engage in that truth and to ultimately express it. So the new human, in order to bring in the highest vibration, you will need to work from a place of truth. You will also need, once you are aware of that truth, to take responsibility. And I think this is a really, really big one, because as humans, we sometimes tend to push everything out there and say, well, it's this, or it's that, or it's that person, or I could have if only. Instead of taking responsibility for where we are and how we're feeling, from a place, of course, of no judgment, of no criticism, and ultimately self-compassion. So that truth combined with responsibility then leads me to the third one, which is probably the most important one that will take you to a different place. Because, of course, the truth and responsibility can come and go. Our ultimate aim is to live from that place all the time, but we're on a journey, right? We're all work in progress. But the third one, the self-awareness, is something that we continually can align ourselves to on a day-to-day basis. And the self-awareness, what it enables us to do is really get more in touch with ourselves, to understand where our thoughts go, to understand our triggers within our physical and emotional and mental bodies. Because if we have triggers within us that are responding to something from the outside, we can, and we must, on this path to being the new human, work with actually either dissolving those or working towards a pattern of behavior that helps us move past it. Sometimes a trigger on the surface may seem like frustration, resentment, but underneath it, there might be an overall sense of abandonment that shows itself as, well, no one understands me. There is no one that can listen to me. I cannot be me in anybody's presence. So whilst those might raise themselves as frustration or resentment to a partner or a friend that doesn't listen or can't see you, underneath that is a frequency of abandonment, which ultimately, as humans, most of us actually hold within our energy field because we feel we have not gone home. We feel that God or a higher vibration is out there and not within our grasp. Whereas in actual fact, another driver in my life is ultimately to know God. What is God? Creator source. How does it feel? What is it? And ultimately to hold that within ourselves. But basically, to know God is to know thyself. It is to be in a place of awareness where we really take responsibility for our truth, where we take responsibility for our thoughts and for our actions, and where we question those beliefs that we hold that might have in the past afforded us an element of faith or commitment, but presently they may be faltering. And whilst it's not really about your faith that is faltering, it might be just a question of re-looking those beliefs that you hold about the patterns or the myths that are resident within your physical, mental, and emotional bodies. So in terms of the path of self-awareness, there are a number of things we can do to help us become more self-aware. The one that is obviously most frequently bandied around is journaling, because it's quite often the case that when we start to write things down, we are able to see them as an objective, or let's say more objective observer than someone who kind of is just holding it, going round and round in their thoughts. So I would say the very first step to any form of self-inquiry or self-awareness is to get yourself a journal. And to really start talking to yourself in a way that you may never have spoken to yourself before. In other words, what are my beliefs? What are my myths? What behaviors do I exhibit that I really feel might be triggers within my own energy field that is going to demand my time, commitment, and awareness to move past? Because ultimately, the only person we can ever change is ourselves. And this does require commitment and a certain element of action orientated. So as much as the beingness is a more passive way, there are things we need to move past or work with in order to become self-aware, in order to become a more in tune human being, in order to become more connected, because ultimately the path of the new human is really acting in a more godlike or Christ-like, however you want to term it, way. And not to feel that that is beyond us and it's only up there for the spiritual beings and creator source who can hold that frequency. I don't believe that. I don't believe we have to be perfect, but I do believe that we can be responsible enough and self-aware enough to move past those things that are allowing a disconnect either within us or between us and others. We all want the world to move towards a place of love, of peace, of happiness for all. I am sure that we all want that deep down in our hearts. And when we find ourselves working, moving, acting from a place that is disconnected with that, we will feel uncomfortable. And whilst you can't go out and fix all those things that you feel are not right with this world, you can and you must start working with yourself in a way that is more aligned to a higher way of being. The new human holds aspects like kindness, compassion, non-judgment, self-respect, all of those things, on which I hope to offer you more information as and when it comes. I will continue writing my things down. I will continue sharing. I've also had ideas around, at the moment I have sitting circles, which I call healing circles, which are really just circles of light, where we hold each other in the space of a blessing and a healing and a highest intention. But I'm also thinking that there might be possibility for some form of community where we can share stories and learn from one another. So that's a more talking, active way of holding a circle. But this will require a deep level of trust and obviously a commitment to the confidence and the information that is shared within that circle. So if you feel that might resonate, drop me a message. I am here for you. It is lovely to engage with you. I have got over looking into the little hole in the laptop so that I feel that I'm actually speaking to you, which is wonderful. So really, I am here for you and I really enjoy sharing information, and I'm here to support you along your path so that you can move into a place of a higher vibration to shine your light so that the whole world can benefit from you working from a place of the new human who is centered in the heart, in love and compassion for self first and then for others. And with that, I think I'm going to close this video for now. It is a Tuesday, so this video has come out a little bit earlier. I hope you have a blessed week ahead. Watch out for my Facebook page because I am going to advertise as another silent walking meditation and I think another sitting circle, and anything else that you feel might resonate or that you might want to participate in. I would love your feedback and input. I wish you so many blessings and really connection from my heart center to yours, and we will chat again. Bye for now.